Okay, so I've glued on these two little pieces here, and I want to kind of get these out of the way. And we know that these are just going to fold down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add some glue. And I just told you previously, it's like, well, I don't put the glue on the piece. Well, this one's, I do, but I don't, but I do. I do it sometimes. I don't know. I'm an artist. So now that the glue is just on this little piece, I'm just going to fold it down. Press it down. And remember, you don't need to do this step if you don't want to build more sturdy kinds of furniture. If you want these to maybe last a month or so, maybe more of playing for a child, you're going to want to do this. And when I say a more than a month or so, I don't know your child. Your child may be absolutely wonderful and doesn't break their toys easily. But kids are kids. You know, I'm not bagging on anybody's kids because kids break stuff and stuff wears out. The nice part of this is if you do make this for your kid, or you and your kids are sitting down and you make these and something goes wrong and they break a piece, it's like, oh, I can make another one. Okay, yeah, cool. Now, I'm going to make the little foam piece that goes in here. If you've been around a while, these are from Marielle's windows. Okay, so this is going to be a little harder to see. I'm going to get down here. See if I can get the... Okay, you see where the folds are? Again, I am not doing heaps of measuring. I'm coming in about 1 millimeter from each side. And I'm just making a mark and making a mark. You see I made a mark, and not even using my T-square or a triangle. I'm just going to go ahead and mock this in as this goes here. So I want something about that big. And with the foam core, I go a little bit ahead and I bring it straight down. The most important thing with working with foam cores, you have a sharp knife. It cuts like butter. You cannot use scissors on it though. It'll completely destroy it if you use scissors on it. Here, I will, well, not completely destroy, but the niceness of it is kind of gone. The nice foamy bit is kind of gone. It's all crunched and gross looking. However, when you cut it with a knife, it looks like that. So I'm going to do a dry fit, and that's the wrong way. Okay, does that seem like that works? And when I say dry fit, I mean I'm going to kind of look and bend and kind of pop the chair together and make sure that there's like everything's in relative squareness. Relative squareness, that's my new band name. Okay, so at this point, knowing that this is going to fit, it's time to glue these two tabs down. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, why do you take all this to the edges? Because I don't want that white popping through. It's just annoying. So this is a little bit more of a... Okay, I'm going to put a fairly decent amount on here. And I use little bits of broken toothpicks and stuff because I usually just want to stick my finger in it. The thing with tacky glue that I've noticed in putting these little paper furniture pieces together, I get it right up close to the edge and I kind of take my time with it. I'm allowing it to become tacky. And then I slide it into where it's supposed to go. And remember, tacky glue dries clear. I line it up with the piece right here. Okay, and you can if you want. If you don't want like a globule. Okay, and again, is that staying relatively in square? Yeah, and remember, it doesn't need to be perfect. No one's ever going to see this. And if you allow it to become a little tacky, it'll hold a little bit better. Okay, so let's come along here. Doopy-doopy-doo. Put some in here. I'm not giving it like a huge amount, but I'm giving it enough of an amount. Okay. Da, 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 da. And incidentally, these are just pieces that are left from other projects. I'll sharpen them because I like having the point. Okay, and now let's put that one in, line it up with the bottom. And I've got my thumb underneath, pressing down. And I noticed when putting these together that making the new drawings, that these two tabs were completely uneven in the original. I didn't realize it. Okay, now I'm going to do a little bit of a test of, okay, will it sit? Oop, I can't get there we go. Okay, it's sitting. It's looking, again, relatively square. Okay, now I want to glue just these top tabs in. Oop, you can see me. Just these top tabs to about here. Sometimes I will actually come in and give myself a mark because sometimes I go a little bazongas and add too much glue, and I'll put glue all the way to the bottom, which you don't want to do. So if you're like me and your brain sometimes just kind of doesn't want to cooperate, you can make some little lines there because, again, no one's going to see them. Okay, so I'm going to bend this back a little bit. Hold that forward. Add on some glue. Da, da, da. And remember, children, I'm the one that, sorry, I'm kind of looking at this through the camera lens. Don't be like me, children. Do not wipe your glue on your hand. Okay, and then I'm going to fold this in. And it's going to move a little bit. Okay. See how it moves? Sorry, I've got my glue in my hand, and I'm doing that. Do not wipe your glue on your hand, children. This is one of those times where you don't want. And when I say children, please know that I am speaking as if I'm a teacher. Remember, art teacher here. Do not do what I'm doing, children. This is wrong, and I should know better. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, now let's glue the other one in. Let's come in here with some glue. I do like this tacky glue, this particular one where the glue is all like up in it's stored upside down. So, okay. So the glue is a little bit more immediate. Okay, let's wipe it in here. Ja, 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 ja. Let it get kind of tacky. Tacky glue. Do not wipe that there, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, and then fold and hold, fold, because you'll feel the tacky glue grab. Okay, and you're probably thinking, wait a minute, what about this? Chill, it's okay. Okay, so right now we have a chair. We have a tiny little chair that someone could sit in. Like, here's, my husband got me the little mini bears because they were on sale. They were on clearance. Aren't they the sweetest little things? Look at those little noses. Or, because Marielle is looking at me over here, Marielle sits down and says, oh, this is quite comfortable. So, little Maloney will join. So, that's a cool little chair. Now, this is going to need to dry for a little bit. And while it's drying, we're going to be concerning ourselves with this and this. And I'll be back in just a second for that. Okay. Another thing I did at the dollar store, since a lot of stuff that I'm using for these are like little, like long things, I got one of these to hold everything because I have a tendency to kind of lose them underneath the paper. So what we're going to do here is, I don't particularly feel like cutting this out with the straight edge. So I'm just going to use my scissors to do this. And again, if you want to use your scissors to cut all this out, I am not in your living room or your dining room or your room where you are doing this. You do what you want to do. I know that sometimes, and my husband and I have talked about this quite a bit, sometimes people want to buy a tutorial or a pattern, and then they want the tutorial to show them how to exactly make the exact thing that's on the package. I'm not that kind of person. I like to have options. Now, this is eventually going to get glued back here. But for right now, it's not. I'm going to put it back underneath. Where's my book? Okay, we're going to go under Camus. Okay. So I cut that out with scissors. Here's. Now you can tell the difference. Yeah, there's a difference. What we're going to do is we're going to cover this with paper. Now, this is a piece of paper, a piece of the painted paper that I used, and it's kind of not great in this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of wrap it like a present, or like if you've done any bookbinding, we're going to be kind of doing it that way. Let me go ahead and change this around so you can better see this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of line this up, grab my pencil, and I'm just going to draw a line. Now, I use pencil just so I can erase it if I make a mistake. If you use pen, sometimes it can seep through to other things, especially when you add, depending on the type of pen you're using a gel pen and then you add glue to it, it's just going to go everywhere. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to, if I can get this in the right place, we're going to glue this in the center. We're going to clip these on the corners and fold everything in. But first we got to glue it down. So here we go. I'm going to glue this side down because I don't want to have to look at that side. Put that over there. Grab my little scraper. I am a glue spreader. I don't like just putting the glue in one spot. Now I see a spot there. Because sometimes it'll make patterns on things. Okay, gluing it on the underside. I'm going to press it down. And then we're just going to do this. And again, using my scissors, because I could, if I wanted to, come in and do all these precise measurements and make everything super duper even. And I'm like, I just don't want to. Now you can see where we're going here. We're just going to wrap these up. These corners aren't really going to be seen, so that's why I'm not paying loads of attention to them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to squirt some glue here. Squirt some glue here. Do a little wipe. Make sure I want to make sure I'm getting into the little corner, like the very corner where the paper turns. And then folding up, folding it over. And then giving a little bit of a press there. I'm not using my bone folder for this. The reason is this is newsprint. And if you, and newsprint, when it gets wet, even if it has the acrylic paint on it, like you guys know that I've been doing a lot of painting on acrylic paper, or acrylic paint on newsprint, this side's getting wet. It makes the paper want to start to fall apart because it's not very good paper. It's supposed to fall apart. It's supposed to biodegrade. And here I am trying to make, artwork out of it. You can see I'm doing the same, coming in, wiping, wipe. Put that over there. I have like a little piece of scrap paper. I'm setting that on. And we're not having a heart attack about this because guess what? No one's ever going to see it. No one's going to know it's there. And for those of you wondering, yes, I do make these little noises to myself when I'm working sometimes, because that's just who I am. Now, you notice when I'm folding up over and I'm wiping, because sometimes the glue will splurt a little bit. Okay, so perfecto. We have a little piece that will fit in here nicely and hide a lot of things that we don't want to look at. But we're not going to glue that in yet because we need to pay some attention to these outside areas. And these outside areas are where the marker's going to come in. Now, I showed you a bunch of different kinds of markers, well, a couple that you could use. I prefer using these. Now, I need to double check and see, who did I use in here? I used the Hottest Pink. Okay, and I always forget with this one which one it is, because you can tell they're terribly close. So let's get a piece of paper, do a test. Okay, that's the light one. I do not want that one. I want this one. Okay, so it's kind of complementary-esque. Now you can see on here, for some reason, if this was a test, I mean, I didn't add in these strips. If you'll look at the designs that I've been sending you, I've been adding in decoration and thing on these little strips down here. But what we need to do now is we need to start thinking about this underneath here. Now, there are a couple of different things we can do. I generally will wait for them to dry and then start doing that. We've got some wet glue in here and in here. Now, you'll notice, we put this in here, you can still see that right there. And I don't like that. So you know what I'm going to do? Because I kind of forgot about that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here. Let's turn this way. So we can just basically make the cut the same. I'm going to come in here. And again, I'm not measuring anything because, you know, I've got stuff to do. Remember, push in a little bit, drag forward. Push in a little bit, drag forward. Okay, so if I add another one in there, and then I put this one in, ooh, look, it's disappeared. Plus, I don't have to use as much marker. So what we're going to do here is we're going to glue this extra piece in here. And how am I going to do that? Well, I'm actually going to, let's see, I'm going to do it this way. These, remember, because this is just paper. Okay. I don't really think that this is going to require anything much stronger than this, because remember, this is just paper to paper. And I hate to even admit this, but again, this is, you're getting the straight poop from the artist. Sometimes I forget how I did things. So let's see. I think I want to move that back just a tiny bit. There. Okay. And then I'm just going to make sure it's pressed in. Now, if I wanted to, I could go ahead and add some more glue in here. But for right now, I don't think I'm going to do that. Okay. You can see it's still a little smaller. But again, no one's going to see this. So, like, who's going to care? So, what we're going to do now, because I think I want to get some of this gluing over with. Where did I put... Oh, I love it when I do this. Oh, you're under Camus. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to add this piece on. This piece that goes on the back. Now, remember how we glued before? Let's get rid of that. Let's put that in there because I know I'm going to need it. Let's put that in there. Put that over there, that over there. I am constantly, like, throughout my workday, working periods, just like straightening. So I'm going to add on, this is a little bit more glue than I previously added on, because this is a little heavier piece. This is not just a paper to paper sort of thing. So I just don't like it when you see a piece and you can tell where the glue is. I want it to all adhere in a rather uniform way. Now, I'm gluing this down, and you're going to notice that these pieces have a tendency to want to pull away from each other, like they don't like each other very much. And, ta-da! Man, I get all this stuff from the dollar store. It's because I'm poor. I've noticed that these little dollar store safety pins, not safety pins, good God, girl, get a grip. clothespins that are like for crafting. I use these. Ooh, that was kind of gnarled up. Because it gives just enough pressure to hold pieces in place without like mangling them. You know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you'll get, I need to grab another one, and I'm putting one right there as well. Where is another one? Okay, I'm just gonna have to, like, here, I'll do this. Let's see, right in that little corner. Okay, and then I'll put that one right there. You want to try to keep these even, meaning you notice how I moved that one to the middle. And I've put these right in the corners where it's gluing to these back pieces. Okay, now I'm going to set this aside to dry completely before I glue this into the bottom or glue or use the paint pens on it. So I will be back, and it's probably going to be about a half an hour to an hour for the next part of this. So I will see you in a little bit. Okay, so we're back. Everybody's dry now, and you can see, looks pretty good. Remember we put this piece in the bottom, and now what we're going to do is we're going to be worrying about this bit. I shouldn't say worrying about it. Now, I went ahead and waited to do this until now because not everybody wants to do it. Not everybody's going to have the same issues that I have. But when I first looked at this it was this particular piece that someone had posted on a forum somewhere, and I saw it and I really liked it. The thing that was pulling me out of the illusion of the piece were the white bits here and here, especially here and here. So as I started working on pieces, I started kind of messing around to see what I could use on them to get rid of it. And it turns out that just by coming in and coloring, and one of the reasons why I really like these markers that have a fine tip and a non-fine tip, a dot tip, is because I can kind of really get in here and hit all of these little areas where the white might pop through. Now, this goes for these edges as well. So I prefer to use, when I'm putting a lot of paint on there, I use the dot tip instead. And this is one of those things where you can make dots with this if you want to. That is not how I'm using them. And I just use a coordinating color, or sometimes not a coordinating color. And you can see the difference between this and this. There's a big difference. The dot tip for this works so well going around edges that you can, I'm just going to go ahead and hit that one all the way across. It makes them kind of disappear. Sometimes you have to do things twice because these are paint pens. You'll have to wait for them to dry a bit. And these in particular, having a dual tip on the end. So if you've got a piece, I'm looking right here, see that little piece right there? I kind of have to squish around and get into it. I can get into it pretty easily. Now, when it comes to these bottom pieces, and you can see I've got a piece of paper underneath, so I'm not like coloring on my, I shouldn't say coloring, painting on these. Now, if you don't know that you want to do this, and you go ahead and put the piece together and you're like, oh wow, Katie was right, I do not like how that looks. I'm showing you that you can do it this way. You just need to move things around a lot to do it. And when it comes to the edges, because I'm doing like a really super quick job here, can you see here, even with this tip, can you see how much of a, see how much is being left right there? So if I come in and do it again, with the finer tip, it's a lot easier. And I like I said, I use coordinating colors because not everything is going to match perfectly. Now, to do that, you can use watercolors to do that. And I'm kind of experimenting with that right now. And I got that tip from a person who uses and creates a lot of these vintage scenes and houses. And they'll go in and very carefully use watercolor to hide the lines, the fold lines, etc., etc. I'm really doing a really super fast job on this because I just want to show you. And you can tell when you're working with this, it's like, oh man, I got some, you can tell here, this part, I put too much glue on it, and some of the glue kind of oozed down. I could feel that it changed. That's one of the nice things about using these acrylic markers, these acrylic paint markers, is that it'll go like right over the top. You may have to kind of massage it a little bit to make it look the way you want, but it's worth it if you're looking for a specific sort of look. Okay, so now you can see when I'm looking there, that white isn't screaming anymore. Now, when it comes to the other colors, there are other pens and other colors you can use. I really do like, now if I raise this up, I think I put them in here. I've separated out this brown because I keep losing it. In other words, I use it a lot. And this is another Artistro, but this is a straight up extra fine 0.77 one kind of tip of an acrylic marker. So these right here, I can come in and just add a little bit on top, and it really, pardon me, dulls those down quite a bit. Now, you're probably wondering, well, is this, is that it? Is that all you do? Well, no. Because when we look at the pieces that I've been making, I'm going to get that. Well, I'm going to leave that there. Can you see the white line right there? It's about 1/2 millimeter. Can you see it now? I will come through, and on the pieces that I'm creating for my artwork, I will come through, and I'll even do this on the bottoms. I will cover up those white lines, and I'll do that all the way around. Now, I'm showing you how to do this now. You can wait till the very end to do this if you want. Sometimes I will actually do parts of these steps, and I'm going to show you in the next video when we put together the love seat, how I do it there. But you can wait until the very, very end to do that if that's what you want to do. So you can see here, you can really see the difference here and here. This, I'm going to need to do a little bit more color matching sort of thing. I've got some different colors. This actually shows up way more yellow than it is. And I think I can probably work with this one. And again, watercolors are also an option here. So what we're going to do in the next step is I'm going to show you how to glue the last bottom piece in, and then how to make, where'd it go here? There it is.